Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome to episode number 504 of NoDQ&A Video right here on NoDQ.com, as well as the YouTube channel and NoDQ&A Video's affiliate, RingsideNews.com. Been on a roll here with videos this week. I think that this is the 5th video that I've posted in a 7-day period. A lot going on in the world of wrestling. We have Comic-Con that just took place with Sting making his first public appearance in WWE. Stay tuned to NoDQ.com for all the very latest regarding Sting. Enough of that. Let's get down to your questions via spring.me/AaronRift. First one today comes from Buckshot1996. Could you see WWE having Roman Reigns win the world title at WrestleMania, then have Seth Rollins cash in Money in the Bank to set up another Shield versus Shield rivalry? That is what makes the most sense to me. I don't see Seth Rollins cashing in Money in the Bank anytime soon. I think that when it happens, it will be well into 2015, probably sometime after WrestleMania. I don't see it happening at WrestleMania because if all goes according to plan and Roman Reigns gets his big world title victory at WrestleMania, WWE is going to want to milk that and see how things go with Roman Reigns on top as champion. So I don't see Seth Rollins crashing the party right away. But I do think that going into the summer of 2015, it makes logical sense to do Roman Reigns versus Seth Rollins and have Seth cash in Money in the Bank. Now, will he be successful or not? That leads to the next question here from Chris Mace 39628. Please answer in video. Could you see Seth Rollins being another person to cash in Money in the Bank and lose? I think a lot of that will depend on how Seth Rollins is doing in WWE, how much momentum he has as a character, and also how well Roman Reigns is doing. I think that if he wins a WWE title at WrestleMania and has a ton of momentum and he's really over and he is clearly the new guy to carry the company and he'll be the new John Cena, then it is possible that Seth Rollins could cash in and be unsuccessful. And it will also depend on WWE's creative direction and if they feel the time is right for Seth to cash it in, and if him successfully cashing in Money in the Bank will create more heat for the feud. So there's a lot of different variables, and it's really hard to say right now in the summer of 2014 what's going to happen. Other than I think in all likelihood we will see Roman Reigns versus Seth Rollins feuding for the WWE title in the summer of 2015. That, I think, is a safe prediction. All right, this one comes from Dave451985. So when Brock Lesnar beats John Cena at SummerSlam, since traditionally in a feud there's a rubber match, and on top of that, the championship rematch clause, will we see Lesnar win over Cena twice? How will that make Cena look, and where does he go from there? Well, that is a very interesting situation. I don't know if WWE is going to do a rubber match. It certainly makes sense to do it, but at the same time, somebody has to lose. And will WWE really want John Cena losing twice in a row on pay-per-view? That is the big question, and I absolutely feel that Brock Lesnar should beat John Cena clean at SummerSlam. I think a screw job would devalue Brock Lesnar coming off the conquering of Undertaker's streak. So I'm not really a fan of a screw job finish or Paul Heyman interfering all that much. I'm sure he'll have some involvement as he usually does, but I think that Lesnar should beat Cena as clean as humanly possible. So what happens at Night of Champions, that remains to be seen. We'll have to wait and see what happens, but it wouldn't surprise me either way. I mean, if WWE decides not to do that match at Night of Champions, I cannot blame them if they decide not to go in that direction. But at the same time, Night of Champions is most likely going to be a big pay-per-view this year. As I've talked about in previous videos, with the network subscription cycles ending from the people that signed up at the end of February, they're going to want a big hook for Night of Champions to get people to commit to another 6 months. So they very well could do that match. Maybe that second match, even though it's supposed to be the rubber match, that'll have some kind of screw job as well. I mean, who knows? All right, this one comes from Freak47. Hey Aaron, love the show. Now that WWE is really pushing Roman Reigns, Do you think that there is even a small chance to change John Cena's character once Reigns is properly built up? Maybe not a heel turn, but even something away from the Super Cena. I think a lot of it will depend on how over Roman Reigns gets once they go all the way with him. Once he wins the Royal Rumble and goes on to WrestleMania and wins. And, we're all jumping the gun here. I mean, this might not even happen with Roman Reigns, but it does seem like he is the heir to the throne. And he's the next guy that WWE is going to try and put into the John Cena position. So if Roman Reigns is successful in that regard, and he does become the new face of the company, I do think there's more of a chance WWE will be willing to maybe tweak the John Cena character. I don't know if that's even going to happen. It's, I think the odds are better that WWE keeps John Cena in like the Babe Ruth of WWE type role, where he is, still around. He's still a major player, but he's just not in the main event and not the WWE champion. So I don't know if they're ever going to really make a significant change to John Cena's character. As I've talked about time and time again, as long as he's selling the merchandise and doing the Make-A-Wish stuff with the kids, I just don't see them making a change with him when, their attitude is if it's not broken, why fix it? And I'm sure some people out there will be saying, well, it's been broken for almost 10 years now. But the bottom line is the bottom line. WWE's been making a ton of money with John Cena, and as long as the money is coming in, that's how they know it's a success and whether to make change or not. They look at the money. If the money's coming in, they're not going to change anything. All right, this one comes from Cole Zill-Ott. Congrats on 500 episodes. First time asker. What do you think of WWE's plan to retire the World Heavyweight Championship belt, and do you think that they should redesign the WWE belt? Well, in my opinion, they should have gotten rid of the World Heavyweight title right when they did the merger at the TLC pay-per-view. To me, it's silly for a guy to be carrying two belts around. I mean, what's the point? We all know pretty much why they're doing it, because of merchandising. When you have two championships, that's two replica belts that you can sell. So WWE, once again, looking at the money. They're not necessarily looking at if it's illogical to have two belts or if it doesn't make any sense. They're just looking at the money and how can we make the most amount of money. Hey, let's just keep the two belts. People will buy both of the replica belts if they see them on television. So, I mean, that is WWE's, that is their mindset. That's how they operate as a business. They're trying to make as much money as possible. So, I mean, it just doesn't make sense to have the two championships. And I think that as far as redesigning the belt, I mean, they're just going to be adopting the new logo into the WWE Championship that they currently have, which is fine. They just introduced that belt a year and a half ago with The Rock, so there's no need to do a full-fledged change to the title. Just update the logo and use that as the sole World Championship. All right, final question today from Power Ranger AVM. Not only did the Wyatts lose to the Usos, but Bray also lost to Chris Jericho. What do you think the WWE is planning? I feel like they are killing his momentum. Well, I think the idea is for Chris Jericho and Bray Wyatt to have a series of matches, and I'm guessing in the end with Chris Jericho leaving again to resume his stuff with Fozzy. Bray Wyatt will get the big final victory and he will, win the feud in the end. So I'm not concerned about that. I was a bit surprised that Jericho won the first match. As I've talked about many times, in these storyline feuds, I think it makes more sense for the heel to win the first match, so that way the babyface has something to fight for, and he has a purpose and trying to get revenge on the guy that beat him. And if there's a screw job or whatever, he can try to get his payback. So when the babyface wins the first match, to me that kills a lot of the heat, because what's the point of doing a second match? The good guy already beat the bad guy, so why are we having another match? But yeah, I'm thinking that at SummerSlam, Bray Wyatt will defeat Chris Jericho in a rematch, and then Night of Champions will be the rubber match, and Bray Wyatt will win again, and he will be the decisive winner of the feud. And we'll see if things pick back up with him at that point. All right, that'll wrap things up for this edition of No DQ&A video. Stay tuned to NoDQ.com for the very latest in WWE and TNA, as well as SummerSlam. I will be there at Staples Center to cover SummerSlam for the 6th straight year on NoDQ.com. So stay tuned for that, and I will see you guys next time for more No DQ&A video.